Welcome to this week's episode of the BreakDown. I'm Mike.
And I'm Austin.
And to give you a little preview of what we're going to be talking about on today's show, we're going to be talking about all the big games going on in college football this week. We're going to be talking about the Tennessee coaching vacancy. We're going to talk about the hire of Chip Kelly at UCLA. And going to the NFL, we're going to be talking about the NFL standings and who we think is going to be in the playoffs. The benching of Eli Manning. And then with the NBA, we're going to be talking about the Derrick Rose situation and the Grizzlies firing of Fizdale. So I guess to kind of start off with this week's show with college football, I feel the first game we got to talk about is Georgia versus Auburn. Who do you think's going to win it?
I'm gonna go bold prediction here, man. I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs. Give me Georgia, man. Coming in hungry and fired up after what Auburn did to them a couple weeks ago. I think look, Auburn's a good team, man, but I just think a motivated Georgia team. They got a wake up call when they lost to Auburn, and I think they're gonna come in fired up and ready to go.
I agree. I feel Georgia, that might have been the loss they needed to kind of keep them going. And I think the running back with Michelle and Chubb, I think they're going to be huge. And then big loss for Auburn might be Johnson. The running back might not play.
Johnson.
Even if he does play, he won't be 100%. And, he gets hit the wrong way, he might come out of the game.
And that's a position they're not deep at, too, because, you look at Kerryon Johnson leading their team in rushing this year. He's been the workhorse. Cameron Petway, who was pretty much the guy last season, he's been out most of the year, and he's not going to play this weekend neither. So if they're without Petway, I think they're going to turn to the true freshman at running back, so that can really be a problem, especially with the way their offense works. They definitely need a running game to be strong and sets up the play-action pass for Jarrett Stidham to have a good game.
Yeah, I feel Auburn is, they've proven that they are a really good team, that they are better than their two losses show, and they are the hottest team in football right now. I just feel that loss is really going to motivate Georgia to come back, and it's in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
So you got to show up for the fans, and I just feel Kirby Smart's going to have them ready for that game.
It's hard to beat a team twice too.
Yeah,
especially in college football.
So I got to kind of close it out with score prediction. What do you think his final score is?
I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be a very low scoring game. I'm gonna go. I'm thinking 17-14. I think Georgia wins by a field goal.
Really, it's a really defensive game. I'm going to go 24-21. Georgia by a field goal. I think a late field goal wins it for Georgia.
I think key player in this game to watch out for, look for Jake Fromm to have a big one. Big game for Jake Fromm.
Yep, I agree. You definitely need to look out for him having a big game. It'd be huge for them.
So moving on to the next game, got the Big 12 championship. TCU, Oklahoma. Who you got?
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma has the best offense in the country behind Baker Mayfield, and their running attack with Anderson. I just feel Oklahoma's just. I think they're going to win by 20. I just feel
it's gonna be blowout.
I think it's gonna be a blowout.
I think now that Oklahoma has the Baker Mayfield situation from last week behind them, they have no distractions right now going into this week. TCU is a very good team, have a very good offense. I think it's gonna be a shootout. I have Oklahoma winning, but I don't have them as a big a margin as you. I think they win in a shootout, 49-42.
Yeah, I can see that happening. TCU's got a solid defense, but I just feel that what happened earlier in the year. Oklahoma just throttled that defense, and then TCU's offense just couldn't respond. So yeah. I think Oklahoma's going to dominate this one. I'm going to go final score. I'm going to go 45-24. It's my final.
Okay.
All right, switching up here. Big game. Miami versus Clemson. Who you liking?
I've been really high on Miami all season, man, but that loss to Pitt really kind of turned me off a little bit. So I'm gonna go to Tigers, Clemson. Look for Kelly Bryant. I think he's gonna have a big game. Freshman quarterback. This is gonna be his time to shine. Maybe he can have a Deshaun Watson type moment. I like Clemson.
I'm disagreeing with you on that one.
Oh,
I feel the Pitt loss might have been what Miami needed. I felt they were kind of feeling that they were one of the best teams in the nation, which with their defense is one of the best in the nation. I feel turnover you. And I feel that might have been the loss. They needed a little kick in the butt to kind of get them motivated for this game. I think Clemson comes in fired up, wanting to bounce back, and upsets the Tigers.
I don't think this is gonna be a close one.
You have blowout?
I think Clemson's gonna roll. I think Clemson, man, they're a better football team. If you look at Miami's schedule, that Notre Dame win, when it happened, everybody was like, man, us included, we thought it was going to be, Miami was for real. But now you look at a Notre Dame loss, that Notre Dame win, and it's not really looking like it should have.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not a huge one, but they still throttled them. So,
look,
they handled them.
Clemson's been here, done that. They have guys on their team that were on the national championship last year. They have guys that are experienced. They're ready to play in the big game. This will be Miami's first big test under Mark Richt to see if they can win big time.
Yep, I agree. It is his first test, so I'm going to go final. I'm going to say Miami wins. I'm going to go 27-21.
I'm going to go 31-3.
Jesus, man.
I
Dang,
think
you got
Clemson,
a blowout.
Look, Miami's
31-3?
Look, Miami,
3 points?
Miami's offense to me is not consistent. And I think Clemson's defense is going to shut them down. Clemson's defense only giving up 13 points a game this year. I think they're really going to shut it down. And you look at their quarterback, the quarterback from Miami. They're averaging right now 258 passing yards per game, but Clemson's only averaging, their defense only giving up 169. So I think Clemson, their defense is going to really show up, and they're going to shut down Miami's offensive attack. And if Miami doesn't get the turnovers on defense, Clemson's offense is going to roll all over them. 31-3. Clemson's going to the playoffs.
We'll see. We'll definitely see on that one. Man, you've really predicted a huge blowout. All right. I guess going to the last big game that we got to talk about is Ohio State versus Wisconsin.
My favorite game coming up. I'm gonna go with the Badgers. Give me the Badgers, man. I've been high on them all year. 11-0. Give Wisconsin some credit. Okay, give them the respect that they deserve. They're undefeated. They're playing Ohio State, who's been the cornerstone of this conference for the last several years. Making multiple college football player appearances and winning a national championship. I think Wisconsin is going to show up, and I think they're going to take it to the Buckeyes.
I agree. I like Wisconsin this one. I feel their defense is their defense only gives up 12 points a game, 80 rushing yards a game. They shut down the rush game. I just feel their defense is just too good, and I feel the offense will do enough to carry them past the Buckeyes. I'm going to go it's going to be low scoring, I think, with both defenses, because I'm going to go final. I'm going to go 20-14.
I think a big key in this game is whether JT Barrett is healthy. Last week, having the
knee to the cameraman.
Yeah, dislocated knee before the game. I think he will play, but he might not be 100%. Look for that to be a big factor in the game. Also, I think Wisconsin, man, they are a great rushing team. Look for them to run the ball all up and down.
Yeah, because their leading rusher has over 1,800 rushing yards.
And they've always been known for that, being a power team. I think this year they're really good at that, and their quarterback has helped them out a lot, playing good football with the play action pass, and they're able to get the passing game so they don't stack the box as much. I think Wisconsin, I think they win by 10 points. I think 20-10. Because I think JT Barrett's not going to
20-10 or 20-10.
20-10. Wisconsin. I think JT Barrett's not going to be fully healthy, so I look for that offense to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, because with his big part of his JT Barrett's game is his running ability.
Yes,
and if he can't run, then he's pretty much he's not as dangerous as he could be.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's to be a factor. So
I like the Badgers.
I like the Badgers. Well, I'm glad we're on the kind of same page with that one. So I guess kind of going with our predictions, I would say my playoff would be, since I have Georgia, want to be Georgia, then it'd be Oklahoma, Miami, and Wisconsin.
I'm gonna go. I like Georgia, Oklahoma, Clemson, and Wisconsin. But look for Alabama to push it. I think Alabama being on the outside looking in right now, they're at 5. If one of those games doesn't go, say Miami upsets Clemson or TCU upsets Oklahoma, Alabama would be the next team to get in. I think Alabama deserves a shot to get into the playoff. They had a lot of mistakes against Auburn. It was very tough game for them. It was at Auburn, so I think that Alabama deserves to be in the playoff. They might not get in the playoff if these teams win. Like we have it going, I don't have them in the playoff, but I do believe that if given the chance, they do deserve some consideration.
Yeah, they deserve it because of what they've done in the past. So they're kind of like a wait and see. They're just praying that some things go their way. So we'll just kind of wait and see. We'll see what happens after this Saturday, and we'll find out on Sunday who's in the playoff and who's not.
Yep. Speaking of the SEC, Tennessee having a real problem up there in Knoxville. How you feel about that coaching situation?
All right. I didn't agree with the Grave Schiano hire when I first heard about that he was the guy they were hired, but I disagreed even more with how they handled it after they decided to go the different way just because they were having fans protest. You're going to tell a guy that the job is his. He's going to tell his family. He's going to tell where he works now at Ohio State that he to accept the job. He did all this, and then you're going to back out because you have some fans protesting the hire? That is just so disrespectful to a coach, and I can definitely understand why all you like Mike. I mean, you saw Mike Gundy turn down 6 years, $42 million to be the head coach there. That just tells you nobody wants to be the head coach of Tennessee right now because of how they handled that situation. Even the Purdue coach, I heard they were looking at him today, and now that they weren't even close to a deal, so now they're looking at the NC State coach. That's just sad. You can't even get the Purdue coach.
Look, I think I think what Tennessee did to Greg Schiano is very disrespectful, unprofessional by Tennessee. Nobody's going to want to coach at Tennessee anymore. It just shows you what type of program that they've been running the last several years, ever since Fulmer left. I think they need to look at management and look at making a change there somehow, because you have Greg Schiano, who, look, I wasn't high on the Greg Schiano hire. If they would have hired him, he was at the head coach at Rutgers, head coach in the NFL for a little bit with Tampa. I just thought they needed to go for more of a big time name. But look, Greg Schiano has done a great job at Ohio State as their defensive coordinator, and he does deserve to be a head coach in college football again. But let me explain something to you. You don't tell a guy he's going to be the head coach of your football team and lead a program like Tennessee and then take it away from him. And I think they had the contract partially signed. So that's totally unprofessional.
The only one that didn't sign it was the chancellor. He's the one that has to make it official.
Yeah, that was just unbelievable. I cannot believe that Tennessee did that. And now Tennessee's biting the bullet, because now every coach doesn't want anything to do with them.
Even when they throw out big money, they're still saying
exactly.
that.
Mike Gundy turned it down. You got the Purdue coach, who I think is a really good coach, but he's at Purdue. You want him to coach Tennessee? I think the Purdue coach is a really good coach, but not the right guy for them. Now they're having to go down the line and look at some lower tier coaches just to keep their program afloat. Yeah. Tennessee, you're looking at Tennessee being down for a good 4 or 5 years because they haven't got the right coach there.
Yeah, I would say they're going down with that decision. I think they're regretting how
they're going to regret it in the future too.
But I guess one team that is not regretting their hire is, I think, UCLA right now.
Home run.
I agree.
Home run.
He's been in the Pac-12. I mean, he was 46-7 at Oregon, had a national championship appearance. Definitely, I think it was a home run hire for them. I think he's going to do big things for UCLA. I think he's gonna bring UCLA back, and then USC's really gonna have their hands full now.
Look, I think Chip Kelly, when he was at Oregon, he might have been the best head coach in college football, other than not named Nick Saban. Okay, he had a 46-7 record. He went to a national championship. I mean, Chip Kelly he's really the guy that put the spread offense into use in college football. He's the one that really brought it out into the national spotlight. So I think he's going to do great things at UCLA. UCLA is the type of program he can recruit 5-star players to. They have a tradition. They have great facilities. They're in Los Angeles, and they compete with USC.
Will them being in Los Angeles, I think that's going to be great for recruits. Like, come to L.A. Come play in L.A.
And he did a great job at Oregon recruiting, but he's going to get guys that he couldn't recruit to Oregon, he's going to be able to recruit to UCLA. Chip Kelly is going to do
especially
great
those
things.
California guys.
Yes. Chip Kelly is going to do great things at UCLA.
I agree. I think he's going to do big things for UCLA. Might not be right away. That first year, don't expect huge things. Yep. But in a couple years, I mean, he's going to really have that program in the right direction.
I think so.
3-4 years, they're going to be in the right direction.
I think they're going to be contenders real soon, 3 or 4 years. They get a good recruiting class coming in next year. They've already been able to recruit there with Jim Moore as head coach. So they already have a good recruits probably coming in from next year. So all they got to do is just keep those guys and let them buy into the system.
Get his guys to fit his system, and I think the UCLA will definitely be on the right track.
Absolutely.
So kind of switching up to the big boys, going into the NFL. Kind of want to talk about the NFL standings a little bit, playoff standings. But right now, you have it to where in the NFC, you have Philly's the 1 seed, Minnesota 2, Los Angeles Rams 3, Saints 4, Panthers 5, Falcons 6, and then you have Seattle 7 and Detroit 8. Do you think the top 6 does it stick? Do you see one of those teams looking in and getting in? How you see it?
Look, I think, first of all, the top 2 seeds are pretty much locked in as far as making the playoffs. Maybe not seeding-wise, but making the playoffs. Definitely going to have Philadelphia and Minnesota in. Minnesota's they're going to win their division because Detroit's the next best team at 6-5. So Minnesota definitely going to be in. Philadelphia's definitely going to be in. The team that I think is the biggest team to watch right now would be the Seattle Seahawks. They're on the outside looking at 7-4. They have the same record as the Falcons, who have the 6th seed right now. I think the Falcons do get into playoffs, but look for the division title in the NFC West to come down to Seattle and Los Angeles, and the team that wins that division makes the playoff, and the team that doesn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel the only question mark. I feel the Eagles stick, and I think they will finish as the 1. I think the Vikings are in the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to finish as the 2 seed, but I do think they'll be in the playoffs. I think the Saints are in the playoffs, no doubt. I feel they're still my favorite to win the division, but even if they don't, I'd still have them in the wild card no matter what. They're in the playoffs. The Panthers, I want to say they're not going to make it, but they haven't shown me anything to prove to me that they're not a playoff team, so I have them in. The Falcons are playing great football right now on a win streak. I feel like they've found themselves. I think they'll be in. So, yeah, I agree. The only question really is, does Seattle overtake the Rams for the division. And if you look at it, I mean, the Rams, they equally both have a tough schedule. The Rams play, I mean, they should win this week at Arizona, but then they have the Eagles at home. Then they play at Seattle. That could be 2 losses right there. I mean, then they're at Tennessee. That's a tougher game than people probably think it would be. And then they close with the 49ers. They should win that game. And then you go over to Seattle. Seattle has the Eagles, the Jaguars, the Rams, the Cowboys, the Cardinals. If I had to pick the team with a tougher schedule to close out, I would probably say Seattle.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Rams get in. I feel they win one more game than Seattle to get in. Definitely the key game is the game they play against each other. I just feel Seattle could lose 3 of those games, whereas the Rams could only lose 2 to close it out.
I think the rest of the NFL is hoping the Rams get in the playoffs. If I'm GMs around the coaching around the league, because Seattle being a veteran team, being an experienced team, they get in the playoffs, they're gonna be a very dangerous football team.
Absolutely.
Even without Sherman, even without
Chancellor,
they're gonna be a very, very dangerous team come playoff time. I agree with you though. I think the Los Angeles Rams are going to win that division. Seattle just has a tougher schedule. But if right now the Falcons, 7-4, even Detroit. Detroit gets hot. I can see them getting in, sneaking in. I think the NFC South is going to have a lock with 2 teams. I think 2 teams from the NFC South are going to get in no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it be, I think the Saints are the one. The only question is between the Panthers. I think they both can get in.
Yeah.
I think you have 3 teams.
I think they both do get in.
But the Panthers and Falcons,
yeah.
Who's going to have the bigger finish? Because the one team, if I pick between the Falcons and Panthers, who I think wouldn't get in, I would probably say the Panthers, only because of their remaining schedule. They have a game against the Saints. They have a game against the Vikings. A game against the Packers. They should win that game. The Bucs game, they should win, but they have Falcons game. So that's 3. I feel like
that last game of the season could come down to who makes the playoffs: Falcons or Panthers. Week 17,
and it's at Atlanta.
So that's a big deal. Look, the biggest game this week is going to be New Orleans and Carolina. Battle for the division title. New Orleans beat Carolina in week 3, 34-13. I had a big win, but Carolina's playing real hot football right now. Saints coming off a loss. I think the Saints are fine, but they're coming off on a loss. Maybe it's a loss that they needed to break the streak and get them back in a focused mood. So I think the Saints do win that game, but that's going to be a big game to decide playoff standings this week.
Absolutely.
Also, the Vikings-Falcons game too.
Whether it be division or wild card, that's gonna have huge implications on how the season ends.
Yes.
But switching over to the AFC, right now you have it to where the 1 seed is the Steelers, 2 is the Patriots, 3 Titans, 4 Chiefs, 5 Jaguars, 6 Ravens, 7 Bills, 8 Bengals. I'm gonna go as far as 9 Chargers because of how hot they are right now. Going off that, does it stick? Any teams get in that aren't in right now?
I'm going to tell you right now, Kansas City Chiefs are not winning the division. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers to win this division. Kansas City is playing terrible football right now. They're in a slump. I don't see them getting out of it anytime soon. Alex Smith is not playing good football. They're not running the ball like they were at the beginning of the season. Defense is not playing that great. Los Angeles Chargers are really hot right now, and they're dangerous football. They're barely talented. They started off the season, I think, 0-3. Now they're 5-6. They're playing good football. I think Los Angeles is going to win that division.
I feel the Chargers get in. Well, that was literally the exact team I was thinking about. Phillip Rivers is playing out of his mind right now, and the way their defense is playing really well. They're 5-6. They're looking in. The Chiefs have just been. They're trying to give it away. They're lucky that they have an easy remaining schedule. They have a game against the Jets this week. Then they have the Raiders, who aren't that, or they're playing a little better, but there's definitely not where they want to be. Then they have to play the Chargers. They could lose that game, and then they have the Dolphins they should win, and the Broncos is very well. So the Chiefs are lucky that they.
For the Chiefs, I don't think any games they should win. The Chiefs have proven they lost to the Giants.
They're on a 3-game losing streak
now. In their last 6 games, they're 1-5. They started the season 5-0.
You want to know how many points? They haven't scored over 20 points in either of the last 3 games.
And they lost to the Giants. The Giants they're in a limbo mood right now, okay? And they lost to the Giants. This team, they're not good. I don't even think they make the playoffs. I think the Buffalo Bills get in because the Buffalo Bills have found themselves now with Tyrod Taylor quarterback. They made a good decision starting him this week. They had a big win. And they actually beat the Chiefs this week. So I think Buffalo Bills get in the 6th seed. I think they overtake Baltimore and get in. I like Jacksonville at 5. I think they're going to be a decent team.
I would want to say the Bills get in, but this is why I think the Bills don't get in. They play the Patriots twice.
I think they steal one of those games.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think they do. I think Patriots beat them both times, and I think that's what kills the Bills season.
You can have a team that's under 500 get in the AFC. You could.
The way the AFC is going right now, it's definitely possible. But for me, I'm going to have it to where Steelers, Pats, the Titans, Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Jaguars win the division. The Titans are the wild card spot. I just feel the Jacksonville's defense is really going to carry them to win that division. Baltimore, I don't feel they have the offense right now. I'm not a big Joe Flacco fan. I feel their defense is great. I love their defense. I just feel Joe Flacco's is not the right quarterback.
I don't think Baltimore's for real.
No, I don't think Baltimore's for real. So I think they're gonna get out. So I'm gonna have it to where it's Steelers, Pats, Jags win the division, Chargers win the division, and then I'm gonna have it in my wild cards as the Titans and Chiefs, because I think the Chiefs still find a way to get in with the easy schedule.
I don't think the Chiefs get in. But.
Yeah, so that's how I agree with that. Going over to the NBA right now, the one thing I want to talk about is what's going on with Derrick Rose. What do you feel? How do you feel about it? Him stepping away.
I think it's good for him. Take a step back. He's had a lot of injuries the last couple of years. After his MVP season towards ACL, it's well noted. I think for Derrick Rose, the issue right now is if he can't play at the best that he can be, if he can't be one of the best players in the league, I think he's thinking, why does he play at all? And that's what he's questioning. It's either he's the best or he doesn't play. And whatever he decides, I hope for the best for him. I hope he's happy with his decision because he was a fantastic player back when he was healthy, and
especially during his MVP season.
Yeah, I mean,
he was averaging 25 points a game, about 8 assists. I mean, the things he could do athletically were insane. His layups were insane. I mean,
if you haven't seen Derrick Rose, go look up his highlights.
Go look up his highlights. You're gonna want to see. It's worth watching. Like before injury highlights, they are absolutely worth watching. He did some crazy things.
I mean, when he came into the league, you're talking before Russell Westbrook was really Russell Westbrook. Derrick Rose was the guy, the athletic. Nobody ever seen anything like that at the point guard position. I mean, the high flying, the dunks, the acrobatic layups. He was quick. He was fast. Nobody can guard him. Derrick Rose might have been one of the best point guards in NBA history if he stays healthy.
He just might have been. The things he could do, he did things that is at point guard that we had at that moment hadn't seen. So I mean, I was really sad to see him, and I hope he comes back because he's not playing bad this year. He's averaging 14 points a game. He's not having a bad season. No. Like you said, mentally, he feels that he should be one of the top players in this league, and he's not. I mean, I don't know how he feels. I have to be in his shoes to kind of really know what he's going through right now. But that's one thing I can feel how he's going through. He feels he should be the top of his game.
You can tell his mannerisms on the floor last couple of years, dating back to when he had his last season in Chicago, and then last year with the Knicks, this year with the Cavaliers. You can just tell he doesn't look happy on the floor. He's not having fun playing basketball. He can't do the things that he used to do with his knees. And I just think for him, he has so much success, and now he's a shell of what he used to be, and it's taking a toll on him mentally.
Yeah, I feel it's just too much for him, and I hope he comes back. I hope this is just like the kind of rest. I hope one of his friends are giving him good advice, and I would love to see him come back because he's still fun to watch, and I really think he could do great things for the Cavs this year, really help them out.
Yes.
So I hope to see him come back.
I hope he comes back too for his sake. I hope he's happy.
So just wait and see, and I wish him all the best, and I hope to see him come back. But one thing I really want to talk about in the NBA right now that really got me fired up was the firing of Fizdale from the Grizzlies. Man, what is wrong with Memphis?
I'm gonna tell you right. That really pissed me off. Okay. David Fizdale, man, one of the really good guys in the NBA at coaching. I mean, he's a hard-nosed coach. Last year, the Grizzlies don't have a lot of talent. Had an old Zebo. Marcus Gasol's getting up in age. Mike Conley led them to the playoffs and challenged this. I think it was the Spurs in the playoffs, wasn't it?
Yep.
Challenged them to a great series. This guy was a coach on the rise. Look for him not to be a coach for very long. I think he was the fall guy. Whatever Memphis is going through, they need to figure it out because David Fizdale is a really good coach, and they made a mistake.
They made a huge mistake. I mean, I thought he was a great coach for that team. That team, you look at the roster.
The roster's trash.
Yes. I mean, Mike Conley's been out, so, I mean, your roster already wasn't that great. And then your best player's out. Marcus Gasol, I mean, he can't do it on his own. And then you look at, they don't really have anybody else.
They got rid of Tony Allen.
Dillon Brooks is there now. It's like, come on now. You really expect to win with these guys?
They got rid of Tony Allen. They got rid of Zebo. That was the heartbeat of this basketball team. I mean, the heartbeat. I mean, they might have been doing everything on the floor, averaging 15, 20 points a game, but these guys were the heartbeat of this basketball team, and he took them away. Now, they started the season real hot. I think they started 3 or 4-0, 5-0.
Yeah.
And Mike Conley goes out, and they've been playing kind of sluggish. But look, man, Give this guy some time. You got to put a roster around him. Okay, this guy has proven he can be a good coach in this league. You know what I'm saying?
When he started out in Miami as an assistant, I could just see it. He was going to be a head coach.
I knew he was going to be a head coach. And let me tell you, he's not going to be a head coach, on the market for very long. Some team is going to pick him up, and the Memphis Grizzlies are going to look really stupid for firing this guy. I mean, I just can't. I can't believe that they fire. Especially, I don't believe that you should fire a coach this early into the season unless they are really bad. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you losing games by like the Suns situation.
That's
they
okay.
were getting blown out every game by 30. That made sense. But no, Fizdale was a really good coach. This team always played hard for him. I mean, because talent wise, it's hard for them to compete against teams talent, but they gave 110% effort every game for him. And I'm so upset to see him go. Next year, if he wants a job, he's have no problems finding a job. I feel if there's openings, he'll definitely be getting some interviews.
Yep.
Oh my gosh,
I can't believe it, man. I feel for him too, man. This year, look at the Western Conference too, man. It's tough. It's tough in the Western Conference. If you don't put a roster together, you're not going to win the Western Conference. And this guy was 7-12. He was doing the best job that he can do with the roster that he got. What do you want? What do you want from a guy? Okay, so terrible decision by the Grizzlies.
Terrible decision.
Awful, awful.
I really feel for him. Definitely an awful decision. But one topic that we forgot to cover in the NFL was huge news this week: the benching of Eli Manning.
I think
what the heck? Two-time Super Bowl champion. I realize the dude is having not a rough season, but who are his weapons? All of his weapons are hurt. I mean, and then he has no offensive line. He gets hit 1 million times a game.
I'm gonna tell you something about Eli Manning. I think he's also in like a situation with the Grizzlies. Eli Manning's the fall guy. You look at their head coach, McAdoo. He's having a terrible season. They had a lot of expectations in New York with the signing of Brandon Marshall. They had a good defense coming back from last year. Buku weapons on offense. Yeah, Brandon Marshall, Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard in the slot.
All three are hurt.
Exactly. They've all gotten hurt. And you look at this team has not lived up to expectations, but that is not – you don't put that on the quarterback. I think this is a very poor job of McAdoo trying to save his job.
Oh, this is definitely interesting. He's trying to make it seem like Manning's the fall guy.
He's trying to use Manning as a scapegoat, that he's the reason why we're losing. You look at Eli Manning's stats this season. Now, they're not off the charts, but look, he's got 14 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions. Okay? The guys, he's playing good enough football with what he's got. He has nobody to throw to. Nobody to throw to. You think Geno Smith is going to do a better job with this team? This guy is a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. 2-time Super Bowl MVP. And a team that beat the Patriots when they were undefeated.
Yep.
Both times. He outdueled Tom Brady.
I agree. I think this is a terrible decision. And I just think McAdoo's using it as Manning as a fall guy. I think Manning's just in a tough situation where he doesn't have an offensive line. He has, how many fumbles? He has 8 fumbles this year. 8. And I don't think most of those are his fault. That's because his O-line is not good. And then
they have no running game.
And then nobody gets open. So a lot of times when the offensive line does block, he's trying to run around to find somebody that's actually open. So I feel it was a terrible decision to bench him, and I feel it was disrespectful to everything he's done for that franchise.
He was emotional, man. You saw that interview with him?
Yeah.
He was really emotional. He put his heart and soul for 13 seasons into this New York Giants organization, and they just turned their back and stabbed him.
Yep, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, Eli, I think he needs to get out of there. Get out of there while he can.
He's still, everything you did for that organization, they're going to do that.
And he's still got playing days left. Don't waste your playing days in New York because they're a turmoil organization right now.
Yeah, it's time. If I'm him, time to go. Time to get out of New York.
Go find your contender. Find your contender. Go win another Super Bowl, buddy.
I agree. Maybe Broncos?
Maybe.
They have a defense.
Little Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, family tradition down there in Denver.
Yep, go to Denver to finish your career out. We'll see. Maybe a bold prediction on the
breakdown
breakdown.
For the future.
So
you heard it first here.
You heard it first on the breakdown. I'm calling it. He goes to Denver and tries to save their situation. But definitely a very fiery episode. And, like to close it out like we always do. Stud of the week. Who you got?
Look, there was a lot of choices this week for Stud of the Week. You got the guy from Alabama, Alabama basketball. They went 3-on-5 against Minnesota. Sexton, he had a great game. Jarrett Stidham playing great for Auburn against Alabama. But let me tell you, I love. I'm going to go, my Stud of the Week's going to be a little different this week. I'm going to go with the University of Florida Gators, for hiring Dan Mullen. What a home run hire, man. I love Dan Mullen. I said it weeks ago. I thought he would be a perfect situation for him to go there. Dan Mullen has a lot of history with Florida. He knows the expectations. What a great hire by Florida. Florida is going to be on the rise. It's going to take him a couple years to get ready, but Dan Mullen is going to turn Florida around.
I like Ty. That was a good start of the week. Definitely different.
Definitely different.
Not what I was expecting.
Love the hire, man. I love Dan Mullen. I think he's going to do a great job.
We'll see. I definitely think it was a good hire, but we'll see what he can do. But my start of the week gotta be my boy Julio.
I knew you were going to go Julio.
12 catches, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. Julio had a I'm back. All you guys that were saying that I'm having an off season, he shut him up. Do you know that he is the only player with multiple 250-plus receiving yards? He has 3. You know what the next closest guy has? 1. And he has 3. And still has a lot of career left. Definitely my start of the week. Bounce back performance for him. I hope he continues to do this. I mean, I'm not expecting 250 receiving yards every game, but definitely 100-plus receiving. So we'll see how he does the rest of the season, but definitely, without a doubt, my start of the week. So to close it out, anything you want to say to anybody, all fans?
I just want to thank everybody for watching this week and supporting us through this journey. We're trying to get better for you, trying to put together good shows. I think last week and this week are our 2 best shows so far. Very energetic, very exciting shows. Stay tuned for next week. Follow us on Twitter at the Breakdown, Mike and Austin. Hopefully we'll hear from you. And I just want to give a shout out to A29 Helios, squad up.
Definitely the squad, and as we close it out, my famous catchphrase: "Good night, America," and make sure to stay tuned next week for our next episode.
Welcome back, Tiger.